Previously on Back of the Backlog.
You gotta show this to Kylo and Niffler when they come back from the liquor store to buy drinks to celebrate your 21st birthday.
How do you speak the English language if you're born in a different hemisphere?
Well, it's actually because of the collar I wear. Before I forget, I got you a gift.
I'm telling you, man, I don't want to overhype this, but these noodles taste amazing.
Fuck, they better.
I would never lie, they taste fantastic.
So when are you gonna give me a tour of the world?
Dude, I'm sorry, but the world's not ready for you.
I don't see why not.
Dude, we're in America. If there's two things a lot of Americans hate, it's aliens and nudity. You're both. I don't know why the hatred's there. I mean, I suppose we could try to put some clothes on you and say you have some kind of ancient disease. But I don't think that'll work.
I'm down to try.
We could try. But you were spotted in multiple states. In all reality, you probably have to wait here for kind of a while, to be honest.
Why can't people just be nice and welcoming? I'd be happy to do the same on my home planet.
I wish that were the case, Vin. But people are scared of what they don't understand. But let's try not to get ourselves too down. We are having noodles, right?
Right.
On back of the backlog, been gone for way too long. On back of the backlog, got so many games to play, dog. On back of the backlog, Donkey Kong expands my dog. On back of the backlog, me and Kylo been fucking since dawn. On back of the backlog. Did you know that Kylo wears thongs? I'm back at the backlog. I really fucking hate this song. Yeah. What is up, guys? It is Robert at Gaming With Me, and welcome to the 9th episode of Back at the Backlog, the series where I took a look at the games I recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game ReCore. ReCore had an interesting reveal back at E3 2015. We found out it was developed by Keiji Inafune, the creator of the iconic Mega Man, and also Armature Studios, a lot of key Metroid Prime developers that used to work over at Retro Studios. So those two forces combined set out to make a new IP for Microsoft's Xbox One. Obviously, because of this, there was a lot of expectations set because of the players that were actually making this game. ReCore is actually a game that I released a video on back when it released in 2016. It's a solid video. I definitely recommend checking it out after you watch this one.
Yes, please, I stabbed this fucking guy. It's great.
Damn it, I told you not to bring that shit up, bro.
Right. I'm sorry. Go and watch the video because it's pretty funny. And, there may be lightsabers and... I'm sorry. It's too funny. Go watch me stab this fucker.
Unbelievable. I made that video and I don't think I touched the game since then, but here we are 4 years later and I finally finished ReCore. ReCore was released on September 13th, 2016 in the US. ReCore was the first game where Microsoft started to go third party. That's right, ReCore is the first game where Xbox games started to appear on PC. I actually played ReCore on PC. Now we have so many stretching the word exclusive. Now I have to constantly hear these games are console exclusives. Motherfucker, stop stretching the word, because now I'm pissed that Microsoft did this, because now I just have an Xbox One that just sits there inhaling Blu-ray discs, movies, not games. And don't come at me with that it's a Microsoft exclusive bullshit because it's also on Steam, bitch! I just had to get that out there. I guess kinda thanks Microsoft, because now I don't have to buy the next Xbox. I don't have to spend another $500+, you know? So, I mean, hey, I guess that's fine. So, alright. Sure. Did all the big names behind the project and the Play Anywhere promotion help out ReCore at all, though? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story first, as always. To be honest, I don't really get what the story is, and apparently for a lot of people that was a problem. For me, it doesn't really matter. A good story adds to a game, but a bad or unmemorable one doesn't really detract it either, in my opinion. You play as Jewel, and she is on this planet called Far Eden, and there's some bad robots who want to get these disco ball looking things called prismatic cores and stop Jewel. Jewel has a robot friend called Mac. Jewel is also trying to find her father. I don't know, it's trying to set up some type of emotion, but it just doesn't work. But it did set up a game, and that's all that matters in my opinion. Visually, the game is alright. I kind of feel for even 2016, it looks a little outdated. Character models for the few you see are fine, I guess. I kind of feel Jewel looks pretty outdated even for 2016. The robot models are pretty solid. There's a few you partner with. They all look pretty good. From Mac the dog to Duncan the ape, they all have solid designs. Environments are really bland though. The whole game is one big desert and it severely lacks in the variety department. The way the game is as Jewel, you'll be following objectives throughout several locations in Far Eden. The main objective is to collect prismatic cores. A lot of them, which we'll get into later. You could collect prismatic cores by really just exploring. They'll be hidden underground that you dig up thanks to Mac's digging ability. They'll be placed in pods that are protected by enemies. They'll be inside of bosses. They'll be inside of dungeons. They're everywhere, and at a certain point in the game, which ones you go out to collect are up to you. For quite a while, I was having a lot of fun. I mean it, I was having a blast. Controlling Jewel is great. She could jump twice and dash in the air. That sense of freedom in the air was fantastic. The game is essentially split into two different segments. There's platforming segments, and then there's combat segments. I thought the platforming sections were great. I generally have no problems with them. In fact, again, my favorite genre is the platformer genre, so I was all in. Even the first half of the game's combat section, I really enjoyed it. I think they have a lot of interesting and unique ideas. The combat is really just shooting, but they mix it up with the different rifle types. For instance, every enemy is actually color-coded, so shooting a blue enemy will take more damage if you shoot him with the blue bullets. There'll be times when there's 5 or more enemies you're taking on, and you'll be constantly changing the color type, keeping you on your toes, always making sure you are paying attention. I quite like that idea, it worked really well. Then another major part to the combat is extracting their cores. So if you end up doing enough damage, you end up in a tug-of-war like battle where you try to rip out the enemy's core, instantly killing them. It's quite brutal and fun. Obviously, a big part of this game are your robot companions. Each one of them have their own unique abilities. There's 3, kind of 4, that you'll meet throughout the journey. Mac is the first one. In combat, he could dash attack at enemies. I love Mac, he's the best. Next is Seth, he shoots rockets, it's fine. Last is Duncan, and he pounds the floor having fire come out of his hands, which sucks. Duncan blows cock, to be honest. Why? They're enemies that do the exact same fucking thing. So if Duncan is shooting a circle of fire and an enemy is too, you end up having no idea which attack is which because they look so similar and end up just getting hurt due to that horribly poor design decision. There's also an add-on bot that I added onto Mac. It makes him incredibly powerful. He shoots out these huge laser beams that help a ton. One thing that I found out that I thought was pretty surprising is that Jewel actually talks to these bots. They talk back but in their own distorted language. What's funny is if you have subtitles off, you generally have no clue what they're saying. Only time you'll find out is if you turn on the subtitles. I find that pretty surprising.
You think I know what they say?
I doubt it. It's a made-up language for a game called Digimode.
Every language is made up.
He's got a point there.
When you look at that, I can change to it.
Really? Alright, wow. Yeah, but try it. Let's hear it.
What do you think he's saying?
Probably something simple, like, hello, how are you?
No, come on. He's probably saying, like, suck my cock or some stupid shit.
I was saying, suck my cock.
See? Goddamn, I fucking knew it. The world itself is pretty big for sadly no real reason. The world is one big sand texture, and I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Sorry, I had to say it. Although it's true, the world is very empty for a lot of sections with just a flat sand texture and nothing more. Other than prismatic cores scattered throughout, the overworld is just to get you to the dungeons of the game. I feel like they wanted this open world scale to showcase the isolation that Jewel goes through, but it's just too big for its own good. A more condensed map with a lot more structures to interact with would have been a lot better of a decision. There are some sections of the map that the bots can come in and help to traverse. The best one by far is Set's attach ability. It's really epic with him crawling on these rails, flinging Jewel in the sky to attach to another section in the sky. It never gets old, I love it. The music is pretty solid, just not very memorable unfortunately, and for some reason the audio actually does cut out a lot of the time. A lot of time spent in the game is in dungeons. There are several types of dungeons. Some are pure platforming dungeons. Those are my favorite. Perfecting a dungeon though is incredibly tough. There's 3 side objectives that give you more prizes by completing them, but I never set out to do that. Most of the time you have to finish it in a certain time limit, and that side objective alone kills me. Regardless, just getting to the end of a dungeon reveals a prismatic core you can get. A lot of dungeons also have bosses. I gotta say though, bosses are very unmemorable. After seeing even the first one, it's almost like you've seen them all. There's nothing unique about any of them. A lot of them also do the most dreaded thing a boss can do in gaming to me. That is to bring more enemies into the battle. Like, let me verse the boss, not the smaller ones. Honestly, enemies in general start to get very repetitive. I like the design of them, but once I realize that there's not much variety in the designs, it starts to become a chore to take out these enemies. The last big section in the game is called Eden Tower. Now when you get there, you verse the final boss. I'm gonna say who it is just to let you know. Victor. Now again, Victor is just a big robot. There is nothing special about him, not even his name. Like, Victor? That's his name? Okay, yeah, Victor, sure, yeah. What do you know, when versing Victor, he brings in more damn enemies, because of course he does. It's a disappointing fight. You just shoot him like any other boss you encountered, you take him out, and psych! It's not actually the finale. In fact, depending on how many prismatic cores you have, you aren't even close to done. This is where the game absolutely tanks for me. The real final boss fight is at the top of Eden Tower, but in order to get to the top, you have to pass 5 floors of madness. Each floor has a different prismatic core requirement. To get to the 5th floor, you need 45 prismatic cores. I had 16. Yes, 16. I wasn't even close. Are you fucking kidding me? I thought it could very well be me and the fact that I didn't really do a lot of side exploration, but no, I looked up a lot of reviews and playthroughs, and it sounds like everyone has the same complaint at the fact that at this point that number is way too damn high. So instead of going through Eden Tower, I had to backtrack a lot, going to each section of the map, slowly finding prismatic cores one at a time. All this extra padding literally doubles the playtime, and not in a satisfying way in the slightest. This should absolutely be side content for people that enjoyed the bland map. I had no desire to collect another 30 prismatic cores for an area that isn't even fun to begin with. Having to do this shows so much of the weaknesses ReCore has. It becomes incredibly repetitive once you hit this point. Telling Mac to dig up a core at a very specific spot on the map, fighting the same damn enemies another 20 plus times, minor stuff becomes more apparent, like not being able to switch out your bots on the fly. You can use 2 out at a time, which is such an odd decision because there's only 3 of them. Why not cycle through all 3? And if that's the case, why do I have to go to specific areas on the map to switch them out? You should be able to pause and just switch them up, especially because at this point in the game, you constantly need to switch them for specific reasons. It blows my mind how something that simple was overlooked. So after maybe another like 4 to 5 hours, I finally had 45 prismatic cores. And yes, I 100% did look up these prismatic core locations. I was not about to walk aimlessly around a big ass bland map for no reason. Like, I wasn't going to do that. At this point, this game goes from a nice bit of challenge to one of the hardest fucking games I ever played in my life in a matter of seconds. These floors in Eden Tower are unbelievably brutal and genuinely unfair. Each floor has challenging platforming sections that I enjoyed. I like a challenging platformer, I'm cool with that. However, the combat sections were some of the most annoying bullshit I ever had to play, specifically in floors 1 to 3. These combat sections were small arenas that they would fill with enemies to the brim. It's literally an open square with enemies in front and back and to the side of you, and it was surrounded by a fucking laser wall. Don't you think it's a little fucking overboard? Every inch on this square had a laser from some type of enemy on all sides of you. There was no room to breathe, to strategize at all. It doesn't help that you could really only take 3 hits max before you die and restart the arena again. Every combat section is like 20 enemies every time. It's so chaotic to the point where you don't know where to shoot first and where you're getting shot from. Even worse, there's no invincibility frame, not even for a millisecond. So enemies hit you like twice in a row because you're stuck in a damaged animation. It's just garbage, constantly dying, not knowing how I did. Please, watch this clip and tell me how the fuck I died. Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, I encountered glitches at this part. I encountered no glitches until these floors and ended up having 1 glitch per floor. At one point, enemies just stopped spawning, and that would be great if I could continue, but I couldn't. So I had to keep running into the laser wall until I died, and even then, the enemies didn't spawn. I had to exit the game and come back again and redo the entire floor. At another point, my gun stopped shooting. I mean, I literally would press the trigger and nothing fucking happened. How the hell is that acceptable? This game came out in 2016. How was there no update? I was at floors 1 to 3 for fucking hours. I mean, do the developers hate the fucking players? It's like if some 8-year-old developed this shit. Like, where's the creativity? What's fun about being stuck in a box with 20 goddamn enemies shooting at all fucking angles, surrounded by a goddamn laser wall that also fucking kills you? It's like, what's fun, fair, smart, interesting about that shit? Nothing is. It's shit! But there is a but. Floors 4 to 5 is surprisingly fair and fun. I mean, talk about odd. Still the great platforming, and the combat sections also aren't bad. There's genuine setups in the square. Instead of a wide open area, there are walls. So you can dodge, actually avoid attacks, strategize where to send your bot. What happened? Why was floors 1 to 3 so underdeveloped? It's so weird. Like, it's not like floors 4 to 5 are easy. They're still hectic and challenging, but they are fair and they have actual thought put to them. It's fucking weird. Finally, though, you get to the top of Eden Tower and you have one last thing to do. Stop Victor. Unfortunately, it is a disappointing final battle. It's just another normal shootout, tug of war, end. And like I thought they would, he brings more enemies into the battle. Do developers not have faith in their final boss? It's not an epic duel, a battle, hero versus villain. It just is a free-for-all when you add 6 more other enemies to the battle. There's nothing grand or special about it. It just becomes any other fight that you fight. And I don't get that. It's weird. Stop, developers. Stop adding more enemies to your final boss. It's not good. Once you defeat Victor, you get the last prismatic core, and you see Jules' father. He's not actually there. It's just his memory in like body form. He just kind of leaves Jewel to go inside his orb. Tells her, they need me. What? What do you mean? Like, what? The orb needs you? Like, his memory? I don't know. Jewel tells him to not leave because she's alone. And then he tells her that she's never been alone. Get it? Because the robots? He just kind of leaves it at it. It just kind of ends. They even set up a sequel because there's end credits with this guy named Kai that says, "Hey Jewel, you never guessed what I found." So I thought I'd boot up the game and see what he finds. You know what he found? I don't know. It's just genuinely a setup for a sequel, which is odd because, you know, there's never going to be a ReCore 2. I doubt it, so we'll never find out. That's it. ReCore was a huge disappointment, especially because I was having a lot of fun in the first half. I mean, I really genuinely was having a lot of fun. The unnecessary padding just destroys the flow of the game. I loved the platforming sections, but the combat needed to be tweaked, and the later half needs to be severely reduced. If you have a short game, then you have a short game. Don't stretch it for no reason, that's fine. Overall, I'm gonna give ReCore a so much potential, but they really had to go out of the ways to make poor design choices. Damn shame, I don't know, but fuck floors 1 to 3. Suck both my nuts at once. Out of 10. ReCore, like I said, had a lot of potential. I wanted to really like it, but there's too many things that bog down the experience a lot. There's a ton of great elements and a ton of bad ones. You know, if they clean it up and make a sequel, it could potentially be a great game. But for now, you know, it was just a disappointment. I haven't been conflicted on a game like this in a while.
Look on the bright side.
What's the bright side?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think you'd ask.
What? As with every damn game, there's a fan wiki page for it. It's been abandoned for years, and it's pretty sad because even the comments recognize the lack of impact this game made. It goes to show not everything needs its own fan wiki. There's only so much you could talk about Thomas Adams or Earth. That'll be it for today, though. What did you think of ReCore? Did you play it? Did you not? Let me know down in the comments below, and I would love if you guys share this video a lot. These take so long, especially, you know, they just take long to edit, do so much shit. So definitely appreciate if you share it and rewatch. I don't know, rewatch every single episode. So appreciate it, and yeah, guys, I'll see you guys next time. ReCore was a mixed bag of emotions, but it is officially out of the backlog.
You know, I was thinking about Finn lately. You know, he's been around for a few months now, and I just can't help but think there's more to his story than what he's telling us.
And why say that? Because he's an alien?
Well, I mean, yeah. It's not normal for a fucking alien to just be
You know,
around
I
here.
recently had a conversation with him about people who are talking like how you're talking. Where the hell's this coming from?
Because I've been sitting on it, and it just doesn't add up. The only outer space being comes down for a vacation and comes to specifically our house for a GameCube game and convinces us to let him stay by giving us more games that we would want to play, like when he gave us Link's Awakening. I mean, come on! You aren't at all suspicious?
I mean, yes, it's suspicious. But he hasn't done anything harmful. Nothing to prove those dots correct. I mean, you like him, don't you?
I do. But at the same time, of course he's going to be nice to us. When's the last time you asked him about him heading back home?
I haven't, since he's been in good company. But I get it. Next time I'm alone with him, I'll ask him again. Alright?
Alright.
Alright? Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna play some shit I picked up.
What game?
This.